Hello, everyone. Welcome to this walking tour of the Cardcaptor Museum. This is being filmed after I have filed the paperwork and been declared officially official. Stay tuned to the end of this video to see something interesting on that regard. But I figured that it'd be a nice treat for everyone if we went ahead and took a little look around and showed you what all goes into a world record setting 4,783 piece collection, which at the time of shooting this video is actually not even the right number anymore. It's the life of a collector. Let's take you on a little bit of a walking tour through this one dedicated room of my apartment that is this entire collection. So let's start here where collecting Cardcaptor stuff really started for me, obviously with the show Cardcaptors. A lot of this stuff, I have to admit, I did not collect until after I started becoming a collector. Cardcaptors came out in 2001, and I was in middle school. I did not buy a lot of this stuff when I was that age. The only things, actually, that are part of the original collection are this book right here. This is the original Cloud book that started the entire collection. Unfortunately, in shipping it, I actually lost a card, so there is no sleep card in this deck, which is unfortunate, but this wrapped Cloud book, I did the wrapping on this, but this boxed Cloud book was donated by a friend of mine. She gave me the money to buy it, so it is dedicated, or it was dedicated by her. But then we also have all the other things associated with Cardcaptors. So we have decks of cards, we have some of these watches, and of course the wand. The wand does work. The board game was donated by another friend. But then we have all these plushies. My sister actually had the Kiro plushie. And then when it comes down to these dolls, I had a Shauron doll at one point, and then I got rid of it. But all the rest of them were collected afterwards. And then just the collection of various assorted Cardcaptors items. So starting here, we have all of the figures. We have I don't really like to collect the large figures too much, but I do like the smaller figures, and that is what a lot of them are. And moving over here, we have the plushie and soft things shelf. So aside from a bunch of pillows, we also have all the plushies, including the one that was released at the Cardcaptor exhibition last year. This Sakura is actually the very first Cardcaptor Sakura item. So there was obviously the Cardcaptors shelf, but that is a 2004 released plushie that I picked up at Kineticon in 2006. Then down here we have the Soupy collection, as well as a bunch of UFO dolls. And down on these shelves we have the Nakayoshi goods. These are the things that come out of the historical Nakayoshi magazines, or that you were able to send away for, like these items. There are obviously a mixture of new and old items here. For instance, there's the Kiro Bank, and then we have the pens, but we also have old things like that watch, the bento kit, the bath kit here in the back. It's just there's a mix of old and new Nakayoshi items here. Coming up this next shelf, we have the Stationery shelf. This is just a bunch of stuff from Bon Presto, and then several miscellaneous things. Up here we have more miscellaneous toys, clocks, calendars. Hanging off the sides here, I didn't show it, but we do have the keys. And it did light up, but I guess that battery's dead. What about the other one? Yep, that one still works. We have more miscellaneous items here. This back here is an actual signed doodle from Morio Asuka. He's the director of the anime. The story behind that, I didn't go to the Anime Expo that this came from. I bought this off of someone. But he was at Anime Expo in 2012, and you could have gotten a signature from him at the time. What was I doing in 2012? Not going to California for conventions. Over here we have some towels, and then Ichiban Kuji items. Okay, now we're coming over to the Wall of Magic. It's a term I picked up from Crash Course. But this is where some of my big collecting really started. I collected the original Clow book and the Sakura book. The little bag here, that was relatively recently. But then I also found the wands. So I have Cardcaptor Sakura in multiple editions, including the VHS and the DVD release. Then we have the English Cardcaptors and Cardcaptor Sakura releases, which is, for the record, these DVDs, these are all the uncut videos that Pioneer started releasing around 2003, 2004 when they obtained the license. Whereas over here, we have Cardcaptors that was released by Nelvana. And anyone who's followed me for a while knows that I unironically enjoy Cardcaptors. Now these are more interesting. These are the Australian releases, and you can see in here, these tapes are actually colored. As far as I know, there's only a few of them. And then we have these. These came from the UK. Now coming over here, we have the Japanese manga, the Chinese manga from Taiwan, rather. We have the Animanga in Japanese, as well as a few issues of Animanga in Chinese. I only collect the volumes that I can read, so I don't have a lot of the other multilingual editions like Spanish or French. But here we go. Here are the originals. These right here, these are my original manga. Like I have had these forever, or at least, as long as they've actually been available in the US. Now here we go with just a lot of art books, kids' storybooks. These are materials collections. This came from the exhibition. This is 34 issues of Chicks Mix Tokyo Pop. It was just single chapters of the manga, printed like that. And unfortunately, they never made it quite to the end. Then we have more activity books. So many of them. Now over here we have the video game section. This is every electronic video game that's redundant that was released for Cardcaptor Sakura. So the Dreamcast, Collector's Set, the Game Boy, and yes, there is a Game Boy in there, the games, all 4 of the PC softwares. Then we also have PlayStation games, a special edition of the PlayStation game, PS2, and of course, the not well-known Wonder Swan. Now over here, we've just got more miscellaneous items here, like the little metal wands, karutas, which are a form of card game. These are the Cardcaptors activity books. And to my knowledge, I think I have every printed book associated with Cardcaptors now. Then we have the audio media section. These are so DVD that has the recordings of the exhibition audios. And as we can see here, I've still got some of the stickies from the counting. Now here we have the new special collector's edition of the manga, which originally I wasn't collecting these, but then I saw that they're hardcovers, and I just immediately was like, yes, I must own them. Then, of course, Blu-ray Cardcaptor Sakura, which was bought in 2014. That's kind of when the reinvigorated my desire to collect, since a bunch of these other things came out, like the Nendroids and the Tamashii Figuarts figures. Sakura was reviving, and I found a desire to collect. Now, down here are the heaviest shelves. These are the card shelves. These are nearly 3,000 cards. Then we have magazines. The only magazines that actually count are the magazines where Sakura is on the cover, but most of these magazines have a Sakura-related article in them. So it's kind of my idea to cut out those articles eventually and only leave the magazines that have Sakura on the cover. And now down here we have the Nakayoshi shelf. Nakayoshi is the magazine that Cardcaptor Sakura is printed in, as well as Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Card. And you can see here on the top shelf, that's where the original Cardcaptor Sakura is printed, including her very first issue. So there's that. Then we have I don't have quite all of Cardcaptor Sakura yet. I am still missing a few issues. I think I'm missing about 5 or 6 from the original run. But down here, completely unbroken, is Cardcaptor Sakura Clear Cards Nakayoshis. And this includes every Nakayoshi, even the ones that don't have a Sakura chapter. Now, for the record, we counted all of the Nakayoshis that have a Sakura chapter in them, because if it has a Sakura chapter, that makes it a Sakura thing. We did not count, we as in the people that we count, that helped me count, we did not count any of the Nakayoshis that do not have a Sakura chapter. Alright, and now we come to the last little section here. This is the table of stuff. So here I have just a large amount of acrylics. They mostly sit there because I do have ones that I like to display, but for the most part, most of these just sit here. So we have acrylics, acrylic keychains, still got more of these lying around. Then over here we have keychains, mostly all complete sets. These are actually brand new, like they arrived literally today as I'm shooting this. Then we have more and more keychains. There's some more of those. Then we have new arrivals. This is all in processing stuff that I need to take pictures of, record, take data on, including the escape room stuff that came out in Japan. So, unfortunately, traveling to Japan during all this stuff going on is basically impossible, but that doesn't mean I can't buy things. And of course we have a box of new things here. This is nice. I've owned a bootleg copy of this for a long time, but now I get to own the actual proper version. And for the record, no bootlegged things were included in the count. There are no bootlegged items in this room, nor are things that counted. And then of course we have a box full of buttons. So many buttons. Buttons are they're an easy way to get stuff. So this is the pin board. All of my enamel pins. Unfortunately, the reality of collecting enamel pins is that a lot of them discolor in yellow over time. But they all look pretty good for their age. I've looked into some ways to try and maybe clean them up, but it doesn't really seem that there's any way to really fix the damage of time. And over here we have the rubber charm collection. Rubber charms are tricky to collect because it is possible to find ones that are unofficial, but basically all rubber charms will have some kind of trademarking on the back to let you know that they are official ones. Alright, hope everyone had fun with that tour. Now I just need to make some space here so that we can get to the main event. So just 1 second here. That's better. So, there we go. One clean table, and oh, look at this. What do we have sitting here on the table? I'm of course playing this up like it's going to be some kind of major unboxing thing, but honestly, if I had tried to unbox this thing as it came, it wouldn't have been that great of a video. So, here it is. One official certificate. Largest collection of Cardcaptor Sakura memorabilia is 4,873 items. Was achieved by Matthew Emblich, USA, in Columbia, Maryland, USA, on 2 January 2021. There you go. It's official. I'm officially official. I don't know where this is gonna go on the wall yet, but it's going there. Thanks everyone for the support and help along the way. And I look forward to sharing stuff more in depth as this year goes on.